Hi, it's Pastor Dave. Now, over the last week or so, I've been trying to figure out different ways I can engage with you and just interact with you because as we're social distancing, we don't have that time on Sunday morning, and there's only so much you can do over the phone and on screen as well. And I'm going to try different things to see what would work and what would best help you. What I'm going to do now has pretty much nothing to do with our faith. But I had a realization a few nights ago, and I shared this with Samantha. And at least for me, I'm mentally feeling like I'm deployed again, like I was when I was a soldier. If I never told you about it, or you didn't hear it, if I ever brought it up, before I went to seminary, I was a soldier. I was on active duty for 5 years. I deployed to Iraq twice, 10 months the second time, 15 months the first time. And my role in the Army was one that I didn't go out on missions. I was assigned to a division headquarters, and I worked 12-hour shifts. And actually, most of my life was within 1 mile of where I slept every night. It was kind of like social distancing. I only saw the people I worked with. Where I worked was less than a half mile from where I slept. We had very limited options, limited shipping. And in my head, to a degree at least, I almost feel like I'm deployed again. And in thinking about that, there were some lessons that I learned while I was deployed, and I thought maybe it might be a good idea to share them with you, that maybe you might get something out of it, be able to apply it to your life now, or maybe make this time of separation a little bit easier. So there's really 5 things I learned. The first tip I have for you from a lesson learned is get into a routine. At this point, we know this is going to be going on for a few weeks. Some are working from home, some aren't working and have been laid off. Some of you were already retired or not working, but now the situation has changed. The kids are at home full time, or you cannot go out as much. Either way, your life has been disrupted. You're dealing with life in a new way, and the best way to deal with that is to get into a routine. Now, when I was a soldier and deploying, we had a routine when we were stateside, and once we deployed, once everything settled down, we were in a routine again. We called it a battle rhythm. That's when certain things had to be done at certain times. Certain things happened at certain times every day. Once you were in that rhythm, it was okay. But there was a disruptive time between the two. And that was a time when we were in transit, in processing, in country, and also doing a transition with the unit we were replacing. And those were more hectic and bothersome times because everything was in flux. You didn't have a set schedule. You were getting used to time changes. You were getting used to working nights like I did both times. It was very disruptive, but once you get into a routine, life becomes easier. You only have so much willpower. And if you can get into a routine, you do not need that willpower to do those little things. You don't need as much willpower to get up and get out of bed, or to start work, or to eat at a certain time. Once you get into a routine, life will be a little easier. So that's one tip I have for you. Now, this next thing comes from a different lesson, but it's still a good tip to have, and that is get moving. Don't sleep in. Don't take tons of naps. Don't just sit on the couch in front of the television watching the news. If you did that before, maybe we should have a different conversation. And even things like if you just want to take a break, fine, but get up and get moving. Be actively doing something. Be active physically. Don't just lounge around. If you move around, things just physically are better for you. Mentally, things clear up. Don't veg out. Find some way of moving about. And a lot of that can just be doing things that need done. But get up, get moving, be productive. The third thing, and this is going to be a little bit harder, but it will be helpful, and that is get healthy. Now, I know it's always funny to hear someone who's fat mention getting healthy. But I will say those times I was deployed when my choices on food were limited, my choices of activities were limited, those were the times I was actually in the best shape. I mean, imagine taking about 90 pounds off and having a lot more muscle. That's how I was during these times. And it's not just a good excuse to lose weight or to eat better or do something like that, but this can help shape your outlook and how you want to do things. Now is a great time to try to eat healthier. Avoid all the snacking, especially if you're going to be lounging around. Don't just sit there and snack and eat candy and chips and everything else. Eat healthier and take the opportunities we have while we still have them to go out and take a walk. I mean, know your limitations. Don't do anything crazy. If you need to, talk to a doctor. But find some way of being physically active. Find some way of exercising. Do little things you need to do. Just walk. You can walk around your living room for all that matters. You could walk up and down flights of steps. But get active and get healthier, because that will help you have a positive mindset throughout this whole time, and it will make your time at home and your time of social isolation and distancing easier. The fourth lesson I learned, and the fourth tip I have for you, is use this time to your advantage. Yes, you can be stuck at home. Yes, the kids are stuck there with you. But look around at what you have the opportunity to do now. If you're now working from home, you no longer have those commute times. That's time that you have back. If you're stuck home with the kids, look at it, as frustrating as it can be, look at it as this is time that you will have with your kids that eventually you may not have again. This is a time when you have the excuse not to go anywhere, not to go out to eat at a sit-down restaurant, not to go out shopping, not to drive to Selinsgrove or Lewistown to do anything. Use this time to your advantage. If there's a closet that you haven't touched in years, now's a great time to clean it out. Now's a good time to do a good deep cleaning throughout your house. If you have a stack of reading like I always do, now's a time that you can dig into it. Use this time. We used to do this when we were deployed. That's why we were in better shape. We had people who were taking college classes. When you don't have all these distractions, you can get things done. It's going to help you mentally, but it's also going to free up time later. Because think about this now. Eventually this will end. Hopefully, at least it's my hope, that by late spring into summer, we're not going to be stuck at home anymore. If you have all these chores and tasks taken care of, you will have more free time when this is all done. It's something that I'm doing. During this time, now that things are calming down, I have a better sense of what's coming this month. I know what I have to do and when I have to do it, and I can start doing work in advance. I'm starting my ordination paperwork that's due around Labor Day, because I can do it now, pretty much get it done now, and then I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to be spending my summer when I'm going to be able to actually leave and when I'm going to want to do things with my family. I don't have to do my paperwork then. I can do it now when I can't do anything else. And I would encourage you to do the same. Now, this last lesson and tip I have for you is almost counterintuitive to everything else. But this might be the most important one. Keeping in mind, I'm not talking about faith at this time. Yes, keep your faith. That's an important lesson too, but we're going to leave that one as understood. This last one is to appreciate the little things. This can be hard. I get that, especially when you're stuck at home, you can't do much. But I'll be honest, we've ordered more takeout food than we've had in probably the last month or so, in part because we know that some of the smaller businesses around us could use that hand, that help. So we are ordering takeout every so often. But last week, we took the kids to the McDonald's drive-thru. And we did it primarily because that's a small little thing we could appreciate. It's actually what I used to do when I was in Iraq. Obviously, on my way, it typically involved food, but about once a month or so, I would go to one of the other restaurants that were there, like a McDonald's. It was bad Burger King or Pizza Hut or something like that. And I would order something just because it was different and it was somewhat like home. I would do the same thing Sunday mornings, my first deployment. That was the cheat day for the sergeant I worked for myself. We fatted it up and enjoyed it because that was a time we weren't going to go to the gym. We were going to enjoy a good, fatty, tasty meal and then work it off for the rest of the week. Learn to appreciate those little things around you. Learn to appreciate those opportunities that are there. Because oftentimes we will skip over those in life and look for the big things. Those little things can help keep us going through. So those are the 5 tips I have for you. Get into a routine. Get moving. Get healthy. Take advantage of the time you have now. And to take pleasure in the little things. Now, I would appreciate feedback on whether you want me to do little things like this, just to talk about things other than Scripture, whether it's something that's sitting in my office or just a discussion on something that's happening. I'm just looking for ways to help keep you engaged and not just vegging out. So until we see each other again, practice those things we need to do now to flatten out this curve. Keep your trust in God. God bless.